You know those people you see online who are like, I disappeared for a whole year. Hashtag villain arc, hashtag monk mode, demon arc, demon mode, grind all day, every day. People really like to make it look so glamorous, but in reality, it actually looks more like this. If I'm being honest, I always felt left out at school. Like, I wasn't an outcast, but I never felt like I was a part of the group, you could say. Like, I would be with the people I considered my friends, right? And we would all be in a circle, right? Just discussing things. And I just kind of like existed there, not really adding anything to the conversation. And when I did try to like contribute to what was being said at the time, I would always get like shut down. They would always say stuff like, oh yeah, that's crazy, dude. Or no one asked you. As I mentioned in a previous video, I went to a tiny school. And when I say tiny, I mean tiny, all right? So imagine your high school, right? Now, only make it 200 kids. And now spread those kids all the way from K through 12. That is how tiny my school was. That's what I was dealing with. So if you were on the bad side of a group in school, then not only did everyone know about it, but now you were an outcast in the class. And it's not like you can just ignore it either, because how my school was structured, you had every class with the same students in your grade. So it didn't matter if you had beef with one person, you had to deal with that every day, all day, every day, because you were forced to be in the same class. So yeah, you can imagine it was probably in my best interest to stay on good terms with everyone, even if this was the response I got. But that all changed one day when a new student came to class. We'll call him John for this. So John was just joining our class at the time as a new kid, and that process in and of itself is not something easy, especially since he had just moved to the state at the time. So, everyone welcomed him like normal, as anyone would. But it was about 2 weeks in where I noticed something was very off. So I was sitting one day at lunch, sitting with the friend group, and John comes over and he wants to sit down with us because he's the new kid and he doesn't want to like be alone. So he sits with us, right? And you know what they do? All of them just straight up got up and walked away to another table. Like what? And it's not like he did anything to them either, because as I said earlier, it's a small school and we were forced to be with each other all day every day. So I saw everything that happened, and he never did anything wrong. They just didn't like him for literally no reason at all. And this wasn't like a one-time thing either, because this would happen every single time he wanted to sit with us at the table. And every single time he would come to the table and sit down, they would always just move to a different table.
The reason why this bothered me so much was because this showed me what kind of people they really were.
And I would stay and sit there with him because I was just there wondering like, what is wrong with you guys? And I witnessed everything that happened in the class. He never did anything wrong to anyone. He was always respectful and tried his best to fit in with everyone else, because there was no one else to fit in with at the school. They literally just didn't like him for no reason. And it wasn't just John that they did this to either. They would do this to anyone they didn't want sitting with them. It was quite literally a mini superiority complex they had in class.
I forgot to include this part, but it's very necessary for the context.
It also didn't help that the school just straight up did not include my yearbook quote in the yearbook. You know that little quote that everyone gets under their name after they graduate, and it gets put next to your photo, just so the people in later years can remember those people and get a feel for what kind of person they were. Yeah, they straight up didn't include mine because they didn't like it. And they didn't tell me about this either. I had to find out the hard way when my parents spent $60 on a yearbook just to see that I wasn't included. To say this pissed me off was an understatement. I was beyond livid, because not only is that something that I will never get back, but my family also had to pay with their hard-earned money just to see that I wasn't included for the yearbook quotes. So I had to explain to my family that were wondering why my quote wasn't there, that the school just did not include me. And you want to know the best part? My yearbook quote wasn't even bad, nor was it offensive in any kind of way. You want to know what it was? 3 simple, harmless words. Bro, who farted? Not only have I seen much worse, much more offensive jokes as yearbook quotes before, but the school staff decided to take away my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to give the later students, years down the line, a chance to laugh at an innocent, harmless joke from one of the seniors years before them. And it's not like they just forgot about me or didn't see it, because I made sure that they knew I was not happy. And all they did was brush it off like, oh, you should have just not chosen that one. To say that to a student who secretly hated 90% of his class, but only pretended to be friends with them out of fear of being cast to the side, was not a smart move. So seeing this clip of me walking on stage and being handed my high school diploma hits a little differently now that you know the context leading up to that moment. So right after the graduation ceremony ended, I was gone. I wanted nothing to do with the school anymore. Nothing to do with anyone. I disappeared. So why do people disappear then? A lot of it is just out of spite. Like, screw you guys. I'm gonna make it on my own. I'll show you. Stuff like that, you know? That's how a lot of people want it to go. They want their own underdog story. It's like the person that you never expected to ever make it is all of a sudden like a multi-millionaire, stuff like that. There is some cases where that does work. I mean, look at like most YouTubers, really. A lot of YouTube channels where people that disappeared came back and now they have like 1 million subscribers, stuff like that. But a lot of the people that do disappear, some of them never come back. You know, it's like that kid that disappears out of high school, like fresh out of graduation, fresh graduate, just gone off the face of the earth. It's like some people, they try to have that underdog story of going out, doing their thing and succeeding, but sometimes maybe they don't succeed, or they don't ever want to come back into the public eye ever again, or they just don't want to be seen by people. Maybe something entirely worse maybe happened to them. But what a lot of people don't talk about is that it's such a lonely journey. Disappearing from everyone means that like you cut off everyone. Like you don't really talk to pretty much anyone. Like it's like, imagine COVID, right? COVID again, all over again, 2020. But then imagine COVID, but without the COVID. You're just like isolating yourself willingly. That's pretty much how it feels. But eventually at some point you get used to it. You get used to like just being alone. You actually find comfort in just having no one around you. You know, it's like sending echoes into the void, you know, to where you're just like shouting your thoughts, you're brainstorming, you're journaling, you're doing something, maybe even recording videos, and it's just comforting sometimes when nothing echoes back at you. Now, there are days when like you disappear and it's like, yes, this is awesome. There's some days where it's like you're on top of the world, you're having the best day of your life. Other days it makes you wish you didn't have a life. I know it sounds really dark, but some people, they go into like this monk mode phase, you know, where they disappear from everyone. I keep on saying that, but that's really like what it is. It's like, you know, the monks, like Buddhism, where they disappear into the woods, into the mountains, and they come back so much more spiritual and like enlightened, stuff like that. So what a lot of people try to emulate when disappearing and having their own underdog story, but like I said earlier, it's like some people, they just never come back, which is sad to say. But you see it a lot in entrepreneurs. I said this in my last video, but like Iman Gaji, he's someone that talks about this a lot. He has this period of monk mode where he just like puts his head down, just does work, and then the moment when you finally take your head up, it's like everyone's looking at you like, whoa, you did such a great job. What? Wish I can be like you. I wish I can do that. A lot of it is that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know the struggle. They don't know what it is. They don't know the things that you've went through. A bunch of people in the gym journey, you know, it's like having their own body transformation. Like people see it, they'll see like my 1, 2, 5 year body transformation, 10 years. A lot of people see that. They're like, oh wow, that's a lot of hard work, man. I'm so proud of you. But they don't realize just they don't know how difficult the work was. A lot of people don't know the time, effort, the dedication, the sleepless nights, the crying yourself to sleep, wondering, is this ever gonna work? Is my hard work ever gonna pay off? Is anyone gonna see me ever again? Will I ever get back into society? Will I ever make friends? Will anything ever happen? Will this work? Am I on the right path? It's so much stuff. I have these doubts every single day, still to this day. When you put so much work, dedication, and effort into something, just for it to go unappreciated, you could say, you know, when you work so hard to achieve like the body of your dreams, to achieve a goal, to get that career that you want, to get the degree you want in college, and it's just like a lot of people will see it. They'll see your success. At some point, they'll be like, oh man, he's just built different. He's just built different. But they never saw this. They never saw the nights where you were contemplating whether this was right, whether you were on the right path. Because a lot of it's scary. A lot of people, they don't want to take the risk. They don't want to go down the path because it's like they see all these people fail, per se. You see all these people try and then not succeed. But sometimes your biggest breakthrough is right behind a really hard conversation to have with someone, or maybe that really difficult thing that you know that you shouldn't do or you should do. That a lot of people don't realize is that you're one move away from having the biggest breakthrough of your life. You know, it was one video that started it all for me. I saw one video and that was what got me into the gym. If it wasn't for me seeing that one video, I wouldn't be where I am today. Even for like a lot of entrepreneurs, they saw one person, they met one person, they had one conversation. Maybe they had one difficult conversation where they had to fire someone. Difficult conversation where maybe they have to end a relationship, but they're too scared because they don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. But you know, ultimately that would be the better choice for you, like down the road. Maybe even it's my video. You see my video and it's like, whoa, this is the biggest breakthrough ever. I kind of doubt that would happen, but if I do inspire somebody out there to do something and maybe achieve something, then that'll be insane. Because a lot of the time, I forget that I'm even, like, a person, you know? Because you see a lot of people online how, like, this person did this thing and it pissed them off. Like, what? And I'm just kind of watching as, like, a bystander on YouTube. Like, oh my gosh, whoa, man, that's crazy. I can't believe they did that. That's kind of how it works. But then I kind of forget that I'm also a person and not just, like, a spectator or a ghost. I'll say something and then someone gets offended by it. And then it kind of brings me back to reality of, like, wait a minute. Like, hold on, wait a second. I'm a real person. I can, like, affect people. I can change the way someone is feeling in a certain moment. And it's so weird to think about something like that because it's not something that you're typically conscious of, like breathing. Haha. See, now you're manually breathing. Take that. But disappearing has its pros and cons. It can either be the greatest decision that you've ever made in your entire life, or it can be a really disastrous one. Maybe some people disappear because they don't have a choice. I feel like a lot of the time it's deserved, you know? The whole like EDP situation. He was a nobody. Nobody knew who he was. Now no one can stop following him everywhere he goes. But yeah, a lot of people that disappear boils down to like, I'll show you exactly what I can achieve. Like, I'll show you how great I am. Because there is some truth to it. A lot of people feel underappreciated, you know? Like, you go into a job and it's like, this sucks. I know I should not be doing this job. I know that I'm worth more, but a lot of people are lost. A lot of people don't know what to do. That's what I saw a lot in my comment section, is that a lot of people don't know what to do. Because a lot of people will tell someone like, oh, just do this after college. Just go to the military. Just go to college after high school. Just work a job. But that's the thing. There is no one size fits all answer. But that's what a lot of people like to think. Just because it worked for you does not mean it's gonna work for me. The scary reality is that the next step that you take in life, where you decide to take yourself, is entirely your own choice. Which is scary, because that was something with every generation. You know, I even saw footage of people in the 60s fresh out of graduation. They were like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with my life. Like, where do we go? I don't know what's gonna happen. But nowadays that's amplified to an extreme, because now there really is a big question, like, what's next for a lot of people. A lot of people don't know what to do. They don't know if they should stay in their job, say like, screw it, I'm gonna quit my job, do something else, go full-time, all in on something, on one thing. What scares you the most, the scary decision that you're putting off the most, maybe it's an assignment that you're procrastinating on, maybe it's a really scary decision that you don't know that you want to make. But a lot of the time, the biggest progress that we make in life is right behind one really difficult decision. And I think you're probably about to experience it too, if you haven't already. And I know for a fact I'm about to experience it as well. There's some hard things going on right now that I'm not telling, it's no one's business to really know, because obviously no one cares about what goes on in my life. What goes on in my life is my business. If I feel like sharing it, then I'll share it with you guys. But I'm someone that doesn't really like opening up to people very often, at least not very easily, because a lot of the time I don't trust what people are gonna say. I don't trust a lot of people. There's been so many times where I open up to someone and then someone has used it against me, like an ex-partner, an ex-friend. But yeah, disappearing, when do you stop? Whenever you want. You stop whenever you feel like you're ready to come back into society. I have like spurts of that. It's like a lot of the time I'll like disappear for like a month or two, for like 2 months, a year even. Then I'll come back for a little bit, realize, oh wait, it's still shit, it's still bad. So I'll disappear again, come back. I'm in that phase right now. I'm kind of like, I was talking to a few people and now it's like, I'm not even sure if I should continue talking to some of these people. I tend to do that. I don't know. That's a really bad trait of mine. I'll talk to people and then I disappear. I even explained it in another video that I did. Doing that, it's a really hard decision for me. But a lot of the time I make a really hard decision like that, and I make so much progress in life. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like the most progress you make in life is behind a really difficult decision, behind one really difficult choice. Or even like some YouTubers, you're one video away. You're one video away from maybe blowing up, you know? I don't know, that's just what I think. That's been my experience. So to recap, disappearing, it's lonely, obviously. Sometimes it's awesome, sometimes it sucks, and it's scary. But for some people, it's worth it. Where am I?